Hey, it's Anne. This is an impromptu live because I'm not going to be able to pop on tomorrow. So I wanted to show you something fun that I was playing with today. Do you guys ever just look around on Pinterest or other Facebooks and you just see something that you have to try? Well, let me show you kind of how this started. These are some pieces from a recent paper pumpkin. This is a card base. There's also just a basic white card base. This is a piece of shaded spruce cardstock that I cut and I ran through an embossing folder. This is a piece from the Artistically Ink Designer Series paper. These little guys are from the Painted Labels dies. I use this piece right here to cut them out. And my plan was, okay, either on the white cardstock to put these together, probably like this, create kind of a whimsical card. This is a piece from the paper pumpkin. It's a sentiment strip, and I was going to put together a card like this. I could easily, if I wanted it to be a little crazier, I could do it like this. But this piece right here got me thinking, I want to try something different. Well, okay, sorry, I just dropped my little spritzer. So I was watching a Facebook live that Kylie Bertucci did in Australia. She is a fabulous demonstrator over there. And I saw her playing around with alcohol inks. And I, have been playing around with alcohol inks too. And I thought, man, this kind of looks like alcohol inks. What if I could create it, kind of another piece with alcohol inks? Well, here's one I created. Doesn't that look awesome? Well, I wanted to show you how I did that and kind of how Kylie was showing people to do this, because it is way easier than doing all the little bottles of ink and all of that. So let me show you what I did. So I took one of our clear blocks right here, and then I just started putting down some of the colors that were in this piece. And I'm going to actually add a few more while I'm doing it here. We're going to put a little old olive right here in this corner, maybe a little more here, and a little blob in the middle. Then I'm going to take my shaded spruce, and you have to be a little bit careful because you don't want to mix your colors in your ink pad. Okay, so I'm going to come along there, and then I'm going to put a little up here. I know this looks like a big mess, but it is going to turn out such an awesome way. Now I'm using my pale papaya. Let's turn this block around a little. Put some there and maybe a little over here. Okay, now I'm going to get my fresh freesia and we're going to lay down some of that right here on this. Now, you'll notice there's spots here in the middle. Well, I'm going to use my handy dandy Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to get some of my polished pink. I'm going to use the brush stroke here, and I'm going to add some of that polished pink around. I tried this just using the markers, and I really didn't like it that well. So I thought, all right, let's just add a little bit more in there. Then I'm going to use some of my soft succulent right here. And we'll just put some over here. All right. Now, the next thing I did, I brought in a piece of vellum cardstock. Okay, and we're going to just set that over here for now. I'm going to bring in my rag because I don't want to get it all over here. This is just a Stampin' Spritzer filled with rubbing alcohol. I used just Kroger brand. I got it. It's 70% alcohol. You know, I think some people use 90, some use 70. 70 is what I had. So that's what I'm going to use. So now we are just going to spritz alcohol all over this block. Okay? Then, here's the fun part. We're going to put down the vellum right here, and we are just going to start smushing this ink all the way around. All right, now stick with me here. I'm going to bring in my heat tool. And we're going to start drying it. And it dries pretty darn quickly. You want to, of course, be careful not to burn your vellum because it's very thin. Okay, that looks to be dry. Now, I'm going to get just a piece of white cardstock here. And I think I've got a piece in my scrap. Let me find a piece big enough here. So this piece looks like it'll work pretty well. Now, on this piece, what I did is I stamped underneath this little swirl image that came from the Artistically inked. And then I took this little stamp is from the Gorgeous Leaves. So what I'm going to do is just put this down, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. Just put some under there, and you won't see it. That's the other cool thing about this. So let's just pop it in there. Then I'm going to take, because see how this is not as dark? So we're going to try something here and just see what it looks like. Stamping right on top of this with this little image right here, because it looks like a watercolor image, and I think that'll look cool. So here is the little label. I want to show you something, a fun way that I put on my labels. So it is going to go on just like this. But what I do is I get half of it lined up like this. Get that piece on there. Then I just come over and peel off the other part. Stick that down. And voila, it's on there perfectly, and this works every time. Sometimes I know some of my customers have a hard time getting it exactly where they want it to be. All right, now I'm going to come in with my fresh freesia, and then we're going to try this. This is live, so it may not turn out how I want it to, and that's okay. It's just a technique, and we can always kind of redo it. Okay, so I'm going to put on my polished pink there. Then I'm going to come over here and stamp on my block. Then I'm going to put just a little more alcohol on that, smush it around, and then I'm going to stamp this on top of this. Well, look at that. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, let's heat it up, because I'm going to do one more part. Let's get this heated up. All right, come around here. All right, that's heated up. Then I'm going to take this stamp from the collection, and I'm actually going to stamp this on top. Right here and down here. Now, we're going to dry that up a little bit. Isn't this fun? Where you just kind of start out with an idea. Here again was my idea. I'm going to heat that up. Do that over here. Get it all dry. And see, this even as it dries, it kind of gets bolder. Then the last step would be just to bring in your paper trimmer and chop it off to the size that you want. So let me just do that. And you may have to put a little more adhesive on it to keep it secure. But let's do this one and see. What's going to be neat is I'm not going to have the whole image there. And that's okay, because I think it gives it a little more interest when you do stuff like that. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? Where's my original piece? Here it is. Well, hey, Karen Finkel and Maria Rodriguez, what do you think about this? Then you could easily stamp a greeting on here, or like I was going to do with my other one, take this piece that's already done from Paper Pumpkin, and let's see what it looks like with all these other pieces. I could stick this right on here and then even put it back on here again, or with my white. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be playing around with this so much more, because I just think that turned out awesome. And it's a lot easier, I think, than some of the ones I've seen where they use little bottles and put the ink in there and then do it on the vellum or on, what's that other stuff called? Like transparency paper. And then you just can wipe off your block on a, my gosh, I can't talk today, on just a cloth. And then this is just a baby wipe, that you can use to get the rest of it all off. Rag, that's what I'm looking for. Yes, indeed. Alrighty, well, I hope that was kind of fun for you, and I'm going to post it here on my Facebook channel. just in case people maybe pop on tomorrow and think that I'm going to be live when I'm not. So have a great week, y'all. See you next time.